In this video, we're going to look at how to tune the guitar. First, I want to show you a few different types of tuning machines that you find on various types of guitars. The first one is right here. This is a classical guitar. This is a guitar that has nylon strings and then these nylon strings that have a steel winding around them. So these first three are metal and these three over here are nylon. And you can see really clearly up here how the string goes over this piece right here. It's called the nut. It goes over the nut, little break angle goes down here, and it's wrapped around the post. And that post just goes straight through the headstock of the guitar into a pinion gear right here. And then you can see there's a corresponding worm gear. And so all this does is this machinery right here, you can see that it turns that pinion gear. And as I turn it this way, so as you're playing at it, you would look at it kind of down like this, right? And I'm turning it counterclockwise. And if you notice, it turns this peg, it turns the pinion gear in this direction, which is going to wind the string on that tuning post. It's going to wind it, and it's going to stretch the string out, which raises the pitch of that string. And these all work in that same way. If you follow the track of each one of these, you can see which post this string is tied onto. So therefore, which knob affects which string. So this string right here, right, goes to this one right here. This one in here, right, goes all the way to the top one up here, and etc. And so as you're looking at it from this perspective, turning all these counterclockwise will tighten the string. It'll raise the pitch. Therefore, going the opposite way, going clockwise, will lower the pitch. Okay, let's look at another type of guitar here. So another acoustic guitar, which you can see is similar in a way to the classical guitar, where we have three knobs on the side, and you can easily see the strings and where they connect, which tuning peg they connect to. But this is different, right? This is oriented on the guitar differently. And these are sealed machines. It has the same function. There's still the peg, there's a pinion gear, there's a worm gear. This is just sealed and it's permanently lubricated. So you don't have any kind of maintenance on this one, as you would on a classical guitar that has the open gears. But it's the same thing as you're looking down on the instrument here. For these first three strings, you simply turn counterclockwise, and that will raise the pitch. When you get to these three strings on the bottom, so it's these three right here, you get to these, as you're looking down on it, you're turning clockwise on this one. So it's the opposite way as you're looking down on it. So clockwise on these bottom three will raise the pitch. Counterclockwise on these top three up here will raise the pitch. And then obviously to lower the pitch is the opposite way. Now it should be noted too that there are electric guitars that have that same kind of tuning machine. So some of you may have electric guitars. This looks very much the same, doesn't it? It's a steel string, and it's an electric guitar, solid body. The tuners look a little bit differently, but they function the same way. There's a pinion gear and a worm gear, and same kind of thing, right? You can see which string they're affecting by just kind of studying it and following along which one. If you look down at the headstock, again, from kind of the player's perspective, turning these counterclockwise will tighten the string, so therefore raise the pitch of the string. And on these bottom three, as you're looking at it, if you turn these clockwise, they'll raise the pitch of that bottom three strings right here. Okay? And last but not least, we have the 6 inline headstock. This is also an electric guitar. Looks a little bit different than the others. You can see all of the tuning machines are lined up in a very convenient line. They are sealed, of course. It's the same mechanics as the others we've mentioned, with the exception of the classical, right? These are closed machines. They're permanently sealed and lubricated, but there's still a pinion gear and a worm gear. But they're all in line and very easy. And from player perspective, as you're looking down onto these, turning all of these in a counterclockwise direction raises the pitch of the corresponding string. And you can just look and see on your guitar which tuning knob affects which string. Okay, and those are the three main types of tuning machines that guitars have. Okay, now that we know how the strings are attached to the guitar, to their tuning machines, and what direction to turn them, if we need to raise the pitch of a string or to lower the pitch of a string, now we can talk about the actual tuning of the guitar. And of course, most guitars have 6 strings. Some have more, but 6 is the most common. And we'll go from the lower pitch string up here to the higher pitched strings. And in normal tuning, the most common tuning for guitar, what we simply call standard tuning, these are tuned to a very specific pitch, and it's always from low to high in this direction. And if we look at this string over here, we usually refer to this as the first string. So the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And that's just for reference. We chose this one over here, the smallest string, to be string number 1, and the lowest pitch, largest string, to be string number 6. And as in any instrument in music, every note is tuned to a very specific pitch. And the guitar is, of course, no exception. So each of these are tuned to very specific pitches. This one right here most commonly is tuned to the pitch E. This string right here, the 5th string, is tuned to A. The 4th string is tuned to D. 3rd string is tuned to G. 2nd string is tuned to B. And the 1st string is tuned to E. And you think, wait a minute, there are 2 E's. How can there be 2 E's? There is a low E and there's a high E. These note names that I just mentioned are used in all of music for every instrument. And there are more than just those particular notes. There isn't just one E. There are many E's. There are about 6 or 7 E's in music, and about the same A's and D's and G's. They're in different ranges: low pitch, high pitch, low range, high range. And guitar sits basically in the middle of all the musical instruments. And so this is kind of the mid-range of the musical spectrum. For those of you that play piano, or if you go to a piano, it's the middle range of the piano. So an E2, all the way up to the 2nd octave, E4. So it's right in the middle of the keyboard range. With that, let's go ahead and look at how to tune. So you know what direction on the tuning key to use. Now let's look at a few different tuners. You can use any tuner. It's really okay. There are some guitars that have a built-in tuner. You can use that. That's just fine. You can use the tuners just like this. This is a chromatic tuner. This isn't specific for guitar, but this will tune any instrument. And I'll show you how to use this first because these are really common. Let me get it really close here to the screen so you can see it. Okay, so here's what that looks like. It's a chromatic tuner. So as I play notes on the guitar, it's going to be listening for an absolute pitch. So I played, it's going to be a little out of focus in the background, but I'm playing the 4th string right here, and it's showing me it's a little out of tune. See how it's pointing out a D right here? and you're going to see a series of, on these kind of tuners, usually 3 LED lights. There's this one on the left, which tells you you're a little bit lower than your target pitch. Let me get this to the target pitch and you'll hear. See what the tuner did there? So when that LED is just lighting the green LED, I'm a little flat again. When it's lighting that green LED and it shows the name of the string that you're supposed to be tuning, in this case, this 4th string, D, then you know you're in tune. It's hard for me to do it. I'm holding the tuner over here and my left hand is doing everything else. So I can't get it quite exact, but hopefully you get the picture of that. That's pretty close. Okay, so again, you have to know the name of the note that you're tuning. If I were to tune the 5th string, which is A, it's going to tell me it's a G sharp. Okay, so I'm a little low. G is lower than A. Oops, wrong string. So I have to raise the pitch until I get to A. And there we go. It tells me it's perfectly in tune. Now, like I said before, this tuner is chromatic. That means that it will listen to every possible music pitch that there is. It's not specific for guitar. I would recommend a tuner specific for guitar. And there are, again, many different kinds. One of the best is a free app that you can get, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. It's called, this one right here, it's called the Guitar Tuna. There are many different free apps. This is one that I think is most versatile and kind of works the best. And I'll show you why. So when you open it up, it looks like this, right? It looks just like that. That should look familiar. That shows you guitar headstock, and it'll show you the different strings, and like this one here, the E string. Let me turn this off for a minute. It's tracking my voice. This low E string, and you can see the string going all the way to this peg. So it shows you which peg you should be turning. There are a couple different ways that you could use this app, and I would recommend both ways. Number one is the manual mode. By default, I think it comes with the automatic mode. So it's going to listen to all your strings, and it's going to guess what pitch it is. It's going to have these reference pitches in mind, but you could still confuse it pretty easily. That's going to be one of the problems with the chromatic tuner. It doesn't know exactly what string you're tuning for, because it's not listening for guitar pitch. It's listening for any pitch that's relatively nearby. So this tuner's different. So I would recommend turning off the automatic tuner for now, and then you can tell it which string you want to listen to. I don't have the volume turned up on my app, but as you're pressing these notes, it's going to play the note for you. I guess I could turn that up for you so you could hear. So it'll play the pitch for you. Which is good ear training for you. It's going to help you listen for what pitch to play. So if I want to tune this low E string, the 6th string, that's the pitch I'm going to be playing and I'm going to be listening for. And it's low, right? So the tuner is automatically calibrated to that exact pitch. No matter what this string, no matter what its tuning currently is, if you tell the tuner to listen for that E, it's going to be listening for that. So look at what it says. Too low, right? So we have to tune it higher. So on this guitar, counterclockwise. You hear the pitch is going up. You see this little red dot is slowly going towards that center line. Watch what happens when I get it to the center line. Okay, so you heard it. It gave this nice little confirmation beep. All these green lights came up. Green is good, right? Green means go. Nice visual feedback. That E kind of jumps up in its font, and you can tell that that pitch is in tune. If you go too high, see, it's going to tell you, too high, go lower, got to go lower. Now, you can't see me tuning the tuning machine on camera right now. Every instrument is a little bit different. Most tuning machines have about a 12-to-1 ratio or a 14-to-1 ratio. That really means you kind of have to turn it a lot before you actually hear the pitch changing. So if you barely turn the knob, you might not hear much happening, and you might kind of freak out, like, I don't want to tune it anymore, I might break something. Just keep turning it. Turn it as you're playing it. As you're playing the string, you'll hear the pitch change. So don't be afraid to turn the tuning key. This is a pretty safe method right here. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to A. Okay, that is the pitch we're looking for. The 5th string, so that's this one right here. Oh, looky there, it's in tune. Because I tuned it on the other tuner, right? And you would just go through each string in that way. Just don't forget that you're in manual mode, whichever string you want to tune. So I'm going to go to this 4th string. Actually, we did that already. Let's go to the 3rd string, just so you can hear. 3rd string, which one is that? That's G right here. And again, if you're kind of confused on which one, follow the path down here. 1st string goes here, 2nd string goes here, 3rd string goes here. And that's the one I'm tuning on my guitar right now, on my classical. See, so too low. See that? But I'm pretty close. See that? And there we go. And that's in tune. So you just go through each pitch in order. I like to go from low to high, E, A, D, G, B, E. After you get some practice with the manual mode, I would say go ahead and go to automatic mode. Strings that are, relatively well broken in, they've been on the guitar a while, you've played on it a lot, the tuning won't waver too much. So you could get away with automatic mode as long as all the notes are relatively close, and as you're getting more accustomed to those the tuning of the strings and those musical pitches. But I would say for a while, at least for a couple weeks, as you're tuning your guitar, stay in automatic mode. Now, a couple more things I want to show you on this app before we close this video out. On this upper right corner over here, the settings tab, go ahead and if you click on that, you can see there's guitar tunings. You can change the tunings. Now, this is the free version. This will also work for violin or any violin-like instrument. So you could tune a mandolin, because that has the same tuning as this. And then you can tune a bass. All the others, I think you need to have the paid version of the app before you can tune any of those. There is a left-handed mode, so if you do have a left-handed instrument, what I've just explained on all these strings is going to be a little bit off. It's going to be flipped for you, so that might be a little bit confusing. Just click on the left-handed mode, and then when you go back to this view, it flips it the other way. So E, A, D, G, B, E. And now you can see the large string is up here, and the small string is down here. However, this is still string 1. The small, high-pitched E is still string 1. The low-pitched E is string 6. Okay, let's go back to that mode. You could also, if you need to change your calibration, this is by default 440 hertz. That's the standard 440 tuned to an A440, the A above middle C on a piano. But you can change the guitar headstock. So if you're playing an electric instrument and you want to see the 6 inline tuners just like your guitar, if you have a Stratocaster style guitar or something, or a Telecaster, this would be a little bit more similar to your instrument, but the tuning doesn't matter. The musical pitches are still the same. Okay, let me go back to the regular headstock here, acoustic. The other thing I want to show you, this is really pretty cool. If you go under this settings down here on the bottom left, that little wrench, if you go there, this has a metronome. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And as you go on in your music career, metronomes are very good to have. That's how you mark time, musical timing, right? This is a 60 beat metronome. Okay, great for practicing rhythm, great for practicing scales. It gives you a nice steady tempo. Okay, the fundamental building block of all music. All right. And one more thing, this is also really cool. We'll talk about chords in a few weeks, but there is a chord library. So if you click on the chord library, it will show you all of the main chords. You can, up here, you can scroll through to find the chord that you need. It starts on C and a C major. If you hit this button down here, it plays the chord for you, right? You can go over to a D chord, and it shows you how to play the D chord. Notice it has a little hand down here. This is your left hand, and it shows you what finger plays which note. Okay, so you have your index fingers, that orange, so it shows you where to play. The kind of bluish teal color is your third finger, it shows you where to play. Middle finger is that purple color, and it shows you where to put that finger. And then these kind of chord diagrams. And we'll talk about that later again, but just know that this is there, right? This is a cool resource for you. I'll show you one more. Here's the A major chord. And we'll also learn the A minor chord, so you can change its major and minor tonality. So here's A minor. And also shows you the fingering, of course. Okay, so that's kind of a cool feature that you also have with this app. If you need to go back to the tuner, that's this key right here, that button right here. Okay, and that's really all there is to the Guitar Tuna app and how to tune your guitar. So once again, we are using standard tuning, and I would again recommend running this in manual mode, just making sure that you change each note specific to the string that you're wanting to tune. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Happy tuning. Make your guitar sound great and in tune.